Do you have this lingering fear that if Jesus was to come right now, you'd die and go to hell if you're living in sin? I want to help you shatter that limiting belief. Let's talk about justification. This doctrinal belief will really set you free if you allow it to take root in your heart today. If you come to terms to understand that Jesus Christ died for your sins and that you are now made righteous by his faith alone and not by any other works that you can attain, it will set you free from guilt, condemnation, and shame. So let's define justification in 3 simple parts. Justification can be defined as the act of God legally forgiving your sins, imputing Christ's righteousness unto us, and also declaring us as righteous in his sight. We are all aware that we cannot attain righteousness in our own power and in our own strength. And sometimes the thought of that can be a scary one because it almost wants to produce this what's the point of trying type attitude. So let's work through each point. Number 1, this justification allows us to have the forgiveness of sin. That means all of them, your past sins, your present sins, and also your future sins. This news is great news to people who have many sins in their life. And if you are not grateful about this aspect of justification, you should get excited because there is none righteous in the sight of God. Secondly, we see that Christ's righteousness, the perfect life that he lived according to the law, is now counted unto our charge or unto our account. And so what that means is that Jesus lived a perfect life, and so we don't have to try to live up to that same perfect life in our own strength. That doesn't mean that we can live any way that we want, but it does mean that our righteousness will never be enough, and Jesus knew that. So as a result, he came down to earth and he lived a perfect life according to the law, so that his righteousness can be imputed or counted unto our charge, so that when God sees us, he sees the righteousness of his son. And lastly, this justification allows us or affords us the opportunity to be considered righteous or blameless in his sight. When God looks at us, although no matter what we've done, in his sight before him, we are legally declared as not guilty. This truth will set you free from the fear of sin consciousness and constantly feeling that if Christ was to come today or if you were to die, you would immediately go to hell. God is not somewhere sneaking off into the corner waiting to strike you down when his loving son has come down in our place and has justified us by his own righteousness. This justification cancels out all possibilities of condemnation in our life. It cancels out the religious desire to show our righteousness, and it gives us the ability to just be holy, to be righteous. Why? Because it's nothing that we have to work towards. Our faith in Jesus Christ is what makes us righteous. It robs us of trying to live in a good standing status all the time and not trying to mess up. Jesus knew that we were going to mess up, and that had we had the ability to live a holy life without him, then he would not have come and he would not have died. So do me a favor, take a deep breath and exhale. You are okay. We are not justified because we lived a perfect, clean life. We are justified because we have faith in the justifier. If you receive this justification by faith, type out in the comments, I am justified by the justifier. And I want you to hold true to this truth today and understand that Christ's righteousness has been credited to our charge, and the life that we now live, we live in the knowledge of the Son of God, and before God in heaven, we are deemed not guilty.